Coming up on the Lincolnshire Kitchen.
Then we're going to make some apple and blackberry crumble with it today. And then you draw a line with your finger into the line holes, which it is doing. You can safely say that's the right thickness. Welcome back to the Lincolnshire Kitchen and the second episode in the series, Foraging Food for Free. On our first episode, we focused on broadleaf plantain. On today's episode, we're at the end of July, beginning of August, and we're focusing on something a little bit more familiar to everybody, and that's blackberries. Hold the tub for Dad. For Dad. Have you been eating blackberries today? How many do you think you'll need? Do you think we'll need a full tub? Will we need a full tub?
No.
Just while we're out on our walk, I've just discovered some sea buckthorn. So I'd say a few more weeks, and we might well be out doing a video on sea buckthorn. Welcome back to the kitchen. So after our little walk earlier, we've collected a decent amount of blackberries and I've washed them. And I've decided that we're going to make some apple and blackberry crumble with them today. So for me, I don't usually weigh out my ingredients for a crumble. I tend to do it by instinct. But for the purpose of this video and for you guys, I'm going to weigh it out as I go. So for the butter, I'm going to use about half a block. So that's roughly 125 grams. Bang on 125 grams. Get the camera on that. First time. So I'm just going to soften my butter. As with pastry, I'm just going to soften it by beating it. Yeah, just so I'm not raising the temperature. So it might be a bit noisy. So next thing I'm going to be measuring out some brown sugar. So I'm doing 45 gram at the minute of that, and then I'm probably going to try and match that with caster sugar, granulated sugar. So I'm just taking my scales up to 90. Now, that'll do. So next up I'm adding my plain flour, so I'm just going to zero my scales. I may add again to this whilst I'm bringing it together. Because as I say, I do it instinctively, I feel it, you know. I want it to be crumbly but not powdery. 135 grams of plain flour. 50 grams of oats, let's say. Don't forget the salt. It makes a massive difference. It's basically, with your crumble, it's almost like a biscuit, a crumbly biscuit. And it makes a massive difference with the salt in it. So just give it a generous shake over, like so, and then just work it all together. Rub the butter between your fingers with the flour and the sugar. As I said, guys, I said I act on instinct. I don't usually weigh it out. That needs more flour. So I'm going to pop them back onto the scales. I'm going to tell you how much I'm adding. I'm going to add that to what I've already done, which I think was 135 grams. I'm going to make sure the correct recipe goes up for you guys. So I reckon that's another 70 grams, so we're looking at 205 grams so far. And again, I'm just going to bring it together and then I'll decide if I'm happy with it. But you guys have the exact recipe on the screen. Now, I am happy with that. It's crumbly, it's not powdery, there's textured lumps. That's lovely. That's what I want in my crumble. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a tray and into the oven to bake. So I bake my crumble separately to my fruit, and then I add it later and then put it back through the oven again when I'm serving it. My oven's on 175 degrees, 175. I reckon 15 to 20 minutes. So I peeled my apples just before we started recording, just to speed this up. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the apples. I'm just going to quarter them all. Then I'm going to core them. I'm going to put the flat surface on the chopping board and just core them like that. And then with each segment, I'm just going to slice them evenly. So they're all a very similar thickness, similar size, so then they cook evenly as well, guys. So if you do some big, some too small, they're all going to cook at different times. You'll end up with some that are just like applesauce and some that are too hard. So the best thing to do with anything you're cooking, if it's going in the same pan, try and cook them as evenly as possible. So I'm going to put the heat on now, guys, and then I'm going to add some sugar. So I'm going to start it on a little bit of a higher heat so I can turn it down easily enough when I'm ready. I'm not measuring, I'm just sprinkling the sugar over. Brownie apples tend to need quite a bit of sugar, and remember, blackberries tend to be very sharp, so you don't want to go. Obviously people do have a tendency with things like raspberries and blackberries to over sweeten them. They do need a bit of sugar, but if you go too far, you take away what they are. You know, they need a little sharpness to them to recognise them for what they are, to celebrate them basically. So I'm just going to let that cook a little bit. I'm going to keep moving it around with my wooden spoon. And when those apples start to soften, I think I'm going to add a little knob of butter. And then right at the end, I'm going to add my blackberries. I'm not going to do an awful lot of cooking in the pan with the blackberries. I'm going to add them at the end, because being berries, they will take no cooking at all. And if they apply too much heat in the pan to them, I'm going to end up with mush. I'm going to start working on a creme anglaise. So a creme anglaise consists of your egg yolks, some sugar, bring it to a savion, whisk it up to a savion, get it over your heat as a bain-marie. So I've got a little pan of water on here heating up. Don't let the water make contact with the bottom of the bowl, just let the steam cook it gently, keep moving it around. And on another ring I'm going to heat up some cream and milk together, and I'm going to pour that over, whisk it in, and just keep moving it around. A little bit of vanilla until it thickens slightly, and then you've got a really nice creme anglaise to go with your crumble. I'm just separating 4 eggs. I think I'm going to be adding a little bit more. So it's 75 grams of sugar. That's nice and pale now as I'm whisking it, and it's starting to form ribbons. That's what we call ribbons. So I'm going to start getting that over my heat whilst I heat my cream and milk up. Again, I'm going to be moving it around as it's cooking out. And it's not far off ready. So my apples have softened nicely now. So I'm just going to add that knob of butter I was talking about. Let that emulsify in. The boys, be generous with them. I want us to know that there's blackberries in that crumble. I'm not going to do an awful lot more cooking of this. It's going to be coming off the heat any minute, any second. Right guys, so the crumble filling is coming off the heat now, taking it off the ring. I'm just going to be focusing on this creme anglaise. I've added some cream and milk to it. So I've measured out 250ml of cream, 60ml of milk, and warmed it up. Just pouring it into here. I'm just going to let that tick over on the bain-marie, keep stirring it, keep whisking it until that foam disappears. Once it thickens up, you won't get this foam on top, and that's when you'll know it's ready. Before I go any further though, I'm going to add my vanilla. That'll do the job. I'll taste it in a little while once it's ready, and I'll decide if I want any more then. The crumble's had its 20 minutes and that looks perfect. Bang on. So it will feel a little soft when it comes out of the oven, but once you let it cool, it'll harden up. It'll have that crunchy, crumbly loveliness about it. So I'm just going to pop this down to cool down. The creme anglaise can take quite a while over the bain-marie, but as I say, you'll know when it's ready. It'll start to thicken up and the foam will start to disappear. It was very foamy before, and now you can see that it's reduced a lot. So a good test for your creme anglaise is the spoon test. So if you pop your spoon in and then you draw a line with your finger, if the line holds, which it is doing, you can safely say that's the right thickness. Obviously it can be a personal preference thing as well. So now guys, you can either chill it down for tomorrow, or if you're doing it the day before or a couple of days before for your Sunday roast, your dessert, or whatever you're doing it for. It can be chilled down now. You can even lay your crumble top on it once that fruit's cool. You don't really want to be putting it on if you're chilling it down whilst the fruit's warm, because the steam will affect your crumble underneath. I'm being quite generous now with this dish. I've still got some more left. I'm going to plate that bit up for me to try. Go there, my crumble top will go on, like so. Just spreading it out. Probably take 20-25 minutes, maybe longer, you know, just use your initiative. Don't put it on too high, you don't want to burn it. Me and the wife are going to share one tonight, so we can tell you what it's like. And we're going to share this bowl. Did not mention earlier, if you've got a lemon or some lemon juice in the house, a little squeeze of lemon juice to this recipe would be absolutely beautiful. Pop that back in to heat up. The fruit was lukewarm. Gonna give it 10 minutes in the oven. It's only a small portion. Some creme anglaise. Are you ready to try it, Jim?
I am indeed, yes. Looks very good.
I'm quite excited for the boys to try it tomorrow. They help pick the blackberries, and they. Do you want the creme anglaise all over, or do you just want us to dig in?
We'll have it all over.
Do you want to try?
It's very good, very tasty.
Very good, very tasty.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. Apple and blackberry crumble. Blackberries cost us nothing. Beautiful for your Sunday pudding, or whenever you want it, to be honest. Thanks for watching this episode of Finding Food for Free, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.